Hi, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching the Technique of the Month from Digital Photo Magazine. This month we've got a landscape picture that needs a little bit of work, and usually we'd be saying use levels or use curves or use something to improve it, but not today. Today we're going to do this differently because we're going to use layers. Now, don't run away panicking. Layers aren't scary. In fact, we're going to use just one small part of layers called blend modes. Okay, let's get the layers on the screen. Go to Window and choose Layers. And what you'll see is just one single layer with the word background written next to it. This technique does use a few layers, so we're going to start by duplicating this layer. Go up to Layer and choose Duplicate Layer, because I'm going to use one layer to work on each part of the picture. I'm going to start by trying to darken the sky down. So let's call our new layer Sky and click OK. So now we have two layers, one at the bottom called Background and one above it called Sky. To darken the sky, change the blend mode, which is this bit here where it says Normal, and choose Linear Burn. Now this should make the picture darker, which it does. In fact, it makes the sky nice and dark. I really like that. But look what it does to the foreground, and it's almost gone completely black. Now that's exactly what it's meant to do. But we've got more control with layers than we have with any other part of the software. And what we can do is grab the eraser tool and just rub out the bits where it went a bit too dark. And when we rub it out, we reveal the layer underneath. And if you remember, the layer underneath was the original layer. It was a bit flat, but it was at least brighter. And the end result is a picture that has a darker sky and the original foreground. Just be a bit more careful as we go round the edge of the cliffs, so we'll get a smaller brush and just go in a little tighter around those areas. Like so. There we go. Brilliant. Let's get the layers back onto the screen. You can see what we've done. We just have one sky layer and one background layer. And if I turn the sky off, there's the original sky, and there's our new darker sky. Okay, I think we should look at the foreground now, which is, well, just a little bit flat. It really doesn't have much vibrancy in there. Let's go back to the layers and click on the background layer to make that active, and we'll make a copy of that layer just as we did before. Layer and Duplicate Layer. We'll give it another name. We're going to do the foreground, so we better call it foreground so we know what it is, and click OK. We're going to change the blend mode from normal to overlay. Now the overlay blend mode will really boost the contrast and lift the colours as well, which is brilliant. That's exactly the look I'm looking for. It does actually make the sky slightly lighter and the cliffs slightly darker, so we need to just take care of those just like we did before with the eraser tool, and we'll just erase away our new sky to reveal the one we made a minute ago, the darker one, and a bit on the cliffs as well, just to take them back to their original state. There we go, that looks looking pretty good. Okay, so we have a new sky and a new foreground. The rocks though are looking perhaps just a little bit darker than I'd like, so let's brighten up all the rocks. Back to the layers, click on the background layer to make that active once again, and we'll duplicate it. Layer, Duplicate Layer. Rocks, we're going to call this one, because that's what we're going to change. And we're going to change the blend mode away from normal, and we're going to use the screen blend mode. Now screen blend mode always makes images lighter and brighter, like that. Now that certainly makes the rocks a lot brighter, but it's made everything brighter. So you can guess what we're going to do next. That's right, we're going to get the eraser tool and rub out what we don't want, which is the sky. That should come back a little darker. And the cliffs, let's just get a slightly bigger brush. There we go. And we'll do the cliffs on the right hand side, but I'm just going to leave the cliffs on the left because I kind of like it slightly darker on this side and slightly lighter on that one. Then the areas round in the corners here where there's no rocks, or at least darker coloured rocks. There we go, that looks pretty good, and that just makes our rocks a little bit whiter and brighter. Go back to the layers again. You can see there's almost nothing left of that layer now, just a few little spits and spots, but it's doing the job we wanted. Okay, so we're almost done. The last thing I want to do to really make this image stand out is just darken around the corners. So click the background layer to make that active, and make one more copy, layer and duplicate. Let's call it darken, and we'll change the blend mode, this time from normal to multiply. Now the multiply blend mode always makes images darker, and there you go, that certainly does that. It's a bit dark all over, so again we'll get the eraser tool, and this time a nice big brush, more like 1,000 pixels, that's more like it, and we'll just go over the center of the image and just leave the corners just gently going in there. So we leave the corners slightly darkened, and that should help to give the eye somewhere to be drawn into, away from the corners and into the center where we want the eye to look. Now if that effect is a little bit strong, just drop the opacity back around about 70%, just to take that effect down slightly. Yeah, that just darkens up the corners rather well. Now there's only one final thing to do, and for many people the final step is sharpening their image. Now if you did that right now, you would only sharpen the active layer. Now you could go through and sharpen each layer individually, that's fine, or you could flatten all the layers down into one. Go to layer and flatten image, and that will collapse the whole thing down into one layer. And now you can put your enhance unsharp mask sharpening on and sharpen the whole image in one go.